Hello, this is Jolie with Crochet Basics, and this is part 2 of the hippie purse. So, granny square bag we're making. I got 2 different ways to make it that I'm showing you, so I didn't want to do a part 2, but kind of had to because we're lining it and I'm showing you lots of options and all that good stuff. So, if you saw part 1, or you worked up part 1 of this video, you already have your squares made, okay? Your marker to show you which side is the front. You have both of your squares made, or with this way that we did it with all the cotton threads, or you have a square like that made with regular size 4 medium weight cotton, 100% cotton, okay? All right, so, and you should also at this point have your strap made, your sides of your bag and your strap, so it's all one piece. Remember, we said it was all one piece. Okay, so this was the Tunisian crochet, and I showed you how to do it at the very end of part 1, and I told you I'm not an expert on this type of crochet, but I get by, and it's pretty easy once you get going. You know, each it's a 2-row pattern, like it's one down and then back again. So it's a 2-row to finish off the piece. So my piece came out pretty nice. So not terrible. Pretty straight this time around, I must say, because usually I get it and it starts to curl up something wicked, you know, just won't lay flat. But it doesn't really matter this time because it's a handle. It's not like a blanket or something that you know, that it's going to be so noticeable. Okay, so with all of that being said, we're still in the H hook, and what I'm going to do here, actually, I'm going to snip off because I didn't bother to snip off because I have a tendency to do that. Okay, so this was one way of doing the handle, which is also the sides and strap. And I don't know how many rows I did because on this we were going for length. So it was, I said it was 24, approximately 24 inches. 25 was all the way around, okay, just the sides and the bottom, and then, you know, the strap. And I told you we would do, if you wanted to, you know, we would do D-rings, or I'll get to it in a second. Okay, snipping off. So we're going to crochet this on to the bag, okay, one side at a time. Now, I don't usually use pins when I'm sewing or, you know, putting 2 pieces together with crochet. I'll use these stitch markers is what they are, and they're just plastic safety pins, but they hold it usually pretty decent. If you are going to use pins, I like the pins. The best pins to use are the ones with the fat heads on them. If you haven't seen, this is the type of pin I'm talking about. Nice big with a big bobble head, you know, or a nice colorful head so that you can see it in the crochet. You know, you don't miss any and you pull them all out and nice and neat. Okay, your options here. D-rings. 2 D-rings will hold your strap in place. They have smaller ones, but these might be too small because of the width of the strap itself. So a bigger D-ring, and this is a 1.5 inch D-ring, and you need 2 to make it work. And then also you might be able to finagle one of these strap adjusters, or a buckle, you know, whichever you think is going to work for you. Okay, so we said the alternative to the Tunisian crochet was doing 5 half double crochets to the length that you needed. All right, and that goes by the length that you want your strap to be, and you want it to be like adjustable. So this I'll show you in a minute. Okay, this is our main project. This is what the project was supposed to be, and then I ended up doing dueling patterns. All right, so for this, all right, you'll attach in the corner. Now the Tunisian crochet is good, like works out good, because you have your it shows the braid here. Even though we work this way, you have a braid on one side, and then you have a loop, like almost like a bottom of a chain on the other side. So that'll make it easier, I think, to go through. Now I'm going to leave a little bit of space so that I can put on my D-rings, but I'm not going to put them on yet. I'm going to put them on after I get around, but just to show you. And not everybody digs the D-rings. I know I don't like them on belts. I usually have a problem, but I do have a little trick to make them work out better and to stay in place. I think a lot of times people don't realize how to tighten up and keep a D-ring in place, you know, on a strap. Happens, not every body knows. I mean, you know, it's not a common thing. You don't learn it in school or anything, you know, unless you take fashion, I guess. Okay, this is the front of my piece. So I'm going to work around. I'm going to work around the piece. So I'm going in the corner, and this is the front of the Tunisian crochet here, and the back looks like this. So I still have some green left over from the strap and the edging that we first did. And, you know, easy peasy. Let's crochet it together. The two pieces together. Okay. So I'm going to go in through the corner. And your piece is a square, you know, so anywhere should be fine to go into. And I'm going to line up, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a little hangover so that I can attach my my D-rings, rather, my D-rings. Okay, wait, where's my... So I'm going to attach. Line up my piece. Sorry, line up my pieces and work down. Just in a single crochet. So you'll line up. I got a little hangover here, and then on the Tunisian, it has the loop there. So you just go right through the loop in a single crochet. Maybe I should zoom in a little. Okay, so right through on both sides. So that's what the front looks like, and this is what the side's going to look like. So we'll continue on with this, and I'll meet you in the corner so that we can do some increasing so that it flows smooth, you know. And just make sure you're picking up each one. Make sure you're picking up each stitch down the row. And it's a, you know, don't just a side note or whatever tip, don't pull it too, you know, you want an even tension. You don't want to yank it too tight, you know what I mean. So I'm at my corner, and at this point we're going to add in a few increases just to make it bend a little better. Okay, so but this is what it looks like if you did it with the Tunisian crochet. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like on the side. And this is what it'll look like in the front. And then my D-rings will be right there. Alright, so far so good. So now I'm at the corner and I'm going to add in an increase here. In the chain space, you'll go through your chain space and just do 3 single crochets. Should get you through to the other side. Okay? So just 3. Okay? So 3 single crochets will get you to the other side. And then you just continue on. All the way, not all the way around. You're only doing 3 sides. This is your strap, the hangover, you know, the rest of this is my shoulder strap. So you'll continue working. When you get to the next corner, you'll do another 3 single crochet. And then we'll end off here at the top. Alright, so I'll meet you there. If you're working it along with me, you know, or if not, you know, pause here and all of that. I don't know if I said it. I was working on a reboot or a reboot. Yeah, revisions. I was working on revisions to fix that purple boho bag video that I have up there. And I said, you know what? I want to do a fancy handle. I want to do the Tunisian crochet because I've never done it. Well, I've never done it on, you know, a YouTube video. And I've never done it, you know, in one of my patterns, really. You know, I've made stuff, but not mixed it in with one of my patterns. So I thought it would be like, you know, something fun, different to try, something unique. Stuff, I guess. And it does make a pretty stitch, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I think. Okay, so we're getting down to our corner, our next corner now. Okay. So I guess this is where I ended off before. So I'm just going to move my tail from before out of the way, and I'll weave in at the end. I think when it's something like this, it's best to wait till the end to weave in because you're still working on the pieces. You could end up, you know, hitting into and loosening where you wove into. Where you already weaved into, woven. Okay, so in the corner, 3 single crochet will get you by, and then we're just gonna work up to here, and then you'll work the other side. So this is what the first piece looks like, the first side at this point. And these would be the sides. And this would be the inside. So now at this point, what you can do, you can cut off, or, or, I'll give you an option here, or you can work across to the center of the bag. Now this all depends on how you're going to, what kind of a closure you're going to use. I like the toggle buttons, you know, the big buttons that stick out. Like this, but bigger. They make all different size ones, you know, but with the button, the loop in the back, I always think is like the really good way to go with like crochet and knit that's thicker. Okay, my opinion, you know, if you wanted to make a loop, a button loop right now, that would you can do that. That's an option, your choice. Okay, so what you would do to do that is you would just work across in the single crochet and make your loop. So you want it to be in the center. So, all right, we're at our corner here. So do your 3 single crochet. And we're all attached and all of this. Okay? So do your 3 single crochet. Actually, I think I missed. Okay, don't do what I just did. Make sure you get all the way to the corner. Sorry, make sure you get all the way to the corner. All right, at least 1 stitch there. Now from here, you'll work 2 more single crochet in that chain 2 space from the original square. I think it's a chain 2. I think it's a chain 2. I'm not actually looking at the pattern right this second. Okay, so now we'll work 1 single crochet across the top. So this is giving the this single crochet across the top is giving the bag like a full frame all the way around on all 4 sides of the front of the bag, and you know, when we do it on the back of the bag too. All right, so when you get here to your end, you'll do your single crochet. Okay, and this is where we started from. That's why I have a tail here, and this is the tail from my strap. Now I'm going to add in my D-rings. I'm not cutting off. There's 2 different ways to attach. It's funny, I'll go the extra mile to not have to cut off and weave in and all of that. I've always known that about myself. So if you're like me, you know. Okay, so I add my D-rings in, fold over, you know, shift your bag. Make sure you're even on the bottom, you know, this flat piece. And then just work through both pieces of the bag. Wait, I yarned over, didn't I? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. Whew. All right, don't yarn over. We're just going straight through and then come out the other side. And this is a little hard because you're going through 4 layers, but you'll get it done. All right, and if you don't feel comfortable doing it this way, then like I say, you know, get get a needle and thread, and you can sew it. But see, but I find I'll go the extra mile to not have to sew anything. I'll go the extra mile to not have to sew, or you know, snip off and weave in. You know, I'm fun that way. But this one I think is, you know, all about your comfort level. I always, I try not to be too pushy. Because, you know, you might be new to crochet or new to learning patterns and things like that. So, you know. Okay. So that's what that looks like. Now from here, I'm just going to line up my next piece and crochet that on, just the way we did with the first piece. So this is what that looks like. My strap will feed through there. I think I did a little crooked. I also grabbed the wrong string. Way to go. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, if you hold your pieces together as even as you can, and if you keep the yarn behind, you don't have to go through the layers. You could pull it up and slip stitch. Go straight through, pull up the yarn, slip stitch, straight through. And you could do this with the half double crochet, whatever it is. Straight through and pull up. But since this is on the outside of the bag now, you know, you want it to be smooth. Not terrible. Okay, so that's two different ways to attach. Okay, and then just slip stitch it right at the end. We'll finish that off. All right, so for this part, you'll line up your next piece, and you'll attach it the same exact way with the 3 single crochets in the corner to round the corner. Okay, so you'll shift your piece. Okay, so from this point, we're going to attach in the front piece, the front panel, back panel rather, I'm sorry. Okay, the back panel we're going to attach. So now, just to show you where your project should be at, this is what it looks like so far. All right, we got our sides on one panel, the front panel, and we got our D-rings. So if you're going to use the D-rings, I'm using the D-rings because I like an adjustable strap. A buckle will do, you know, just make sure it's wide enough. Okay, so from here, you should get your button ready so that you know the size of the button so we can make the button loop. All right, so we're going to do that now. So this is going to be a weird one. But as I said, you know, I go out of my way to avoid cutting off and all of this. I always like to work in one continuous thread. I really, that's always been my my goal in life with crochet, is to work in one continuous string, not have to cut off. All right, so at this point we're going to attach at the top to the front panel. So we got our pin here, so I know this is the front. The stitches are facing me. So we're going to attach in the corner and do 2 single crochets. So 1, 2. Now if you need to, of course, if you need to, or if it makes it easier, you can use these and pin it together so that you're not, you know, flapping all over the place. You know, your piece isn't flapping all over the place until you're ready to use it. You're ready to go into it. So just loosely align it. Line it up just loosely, and just to, you know, keep it so that it's easier to attach. It doesn't have to be perfect at this point because we're still going to work down and around. Okay? So you'll work one single crochet to the middle, to wherever your middle is. This is the middle for me. If you worked as many rows as I did, this center loop should be your middle of your bag. And then we'll we'll make our button loop rather. We're not going to attach anything. All right, so you'll work one single crochet down to that middle point, and you'll make your button loop. So you should have your button ready, and mainly because you want to make sure that this little loop that we're going to make is a good size. Okay, so this is my center right here, right here. This is my very center. All right, so I'm going to work single crochet right up to it, and I'm going to chain 20. Now your chain might need to be longer. 20 is a basic of what I'm going for, because when you go to close the bag, you're not gonna, there's nothing here. The center is, you know, it's not there. So you're gonna have to sew your button down lower to the row below it. Okay, so you want to be able to reach that, you know, without having the bag all jammed up and the button being closed easily, because it'll start to wear away, and then one day your button will be gone. Okay, so that can happen. It can happen either way, but you know, if you could make it not happen sooner, then that's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to chain my 20, and then I'm going to go right back in. And I'm going to single crochet right next to it and continue on. Alright, so that'll be my button loop. So usually I'll go back around and I'll do a whole bunch of single crochets. I'm not going to do that this time. So, but if you want to do that, go ahead, and you should do around it, not, you know, not picking up the chains, but going around the chains, and probably 30 single crochets, you know, around 30 single crochets. All right, so I'm going to continue on my single crochet across the top, and I'm going to start working around and attaching the sides of the bag to the back panel, or front panel rather, the next panel. Okay, so remember, we already attached it in that one corner when we came up, if you're doing what I'm doing. Okay, so you want to, you know, try and line it up as best as possible, pin it up, you know, so that you have like a nice, you know, you want a flat piece, a nice flat piece. So I'm going to follow across right here. And that's where I'm going to go in and attach. And I'm going to go through both sides there. Wait, I didn't even get to the corner. I'm sorry. So here's what happened. I did something that I tell you not to do, to be aware of in all this. So what happened was I ran out of my chartreuse that I've been using. I guess I wasn't paying attention, and I thought I had another ball or skein in my stash, but I didn't. So I actually had to stop filming right where we were connecting and snip off a little piece and run to the store. So super silly. So now what I'm going to tell you is, you know, the way the yarns come into the craft store, this is something to be mindful and a little like trick or tip. Okay, not all dye lots are the same, and the way they unpack them and store them in the back of the store and all of this. Okay, especially with big chain stores. Okay, so what you want to do if that happens, because sometimes they're a shade off or a couple of shades off, even though it's labeled as the same color, same brand, same color, you know. What you want to do is snip off a little piece and take it with you. And with that, when you do find the yarn, take it and put the piece into it to see how closely you can match it up. Okay, because it might not be exact. Okay, but close enough, as close as you can get it. And again, different dye lots, dyed on different days, different amounts of water, different amounts of dye, okay, we'll change the color slightly, even though it's the same brand and the same name, color name, and all of that. All right, so that's what I did. I took a little scrap of yarn, and I went to the craft store and I tried to match up as best as possible. So, and I actually ended up picking up more of it because I wanted it for a different project. And I checked my dye lots. You always want to check your dye lots. So here. And then here. So these dye lots actually don't match. I did that on purpose. But I did pick up 3 skeins of matching dye lot. Okay, so you always want to check your dye lot, and don't be like me. Make sure you have enough yarn, or something that will substitute and fit right in. Like I'll add a multicolored or something like that to make it work. Okay, so silly. With that being said, let's finish this up. Because this is one of these that I've been working on this one for a while, because I was filming it and then I had to stop for a while because life and things like that. All right. So if you're still at the same point as me, I'm adding in. I'm also going to make my strap longer because I realized I was running low on it, and I wanted to show you attaching, because attaching is more important. I can always do something with a strap later on, but attaching is more important as far as showing you what we're doing here. Okay, with that being said, so we're going to continue on. We're going to line up our piece, and we pinned it prior, but not pinned it, just kind of put it into place. All right, so let's see. Okay, so I'm going to add in the corner. If you had enough yarn, you don't have to do that. So this one, it's almost a perfect match. Almost. Not exactly. But we'll live. It'll be all right. Okay, so we're going to continue on. And what do we say? 2 single crochets in the corner. And then we're going to attach it. And you can follow here where it was attached. Okay. And I'm going to go through both sides of, this is the Tunisian crochet. So I'm going to go through both sides of that. And then work back around. All right. So make sure, if you're doing it this way, if you're going to attach it crazy like me, make sure that you're catching all of your stitches, and make sure it's lining up as you work it. Make sure you're lining up as best as possible, is what I usually say. Okay, and if this one is too advanced, you're a little afraid to give this bag a shot. I am doing when I was showing you how to do to make it more basic, easier. So I will have a video for that, to make this one more easy with not making your own color palette and, you know, your own yarn with the multicolor and stuff, and just an easier granny square. You should be all right at this point. Okay, so we'll just continue on attaching until we get to the last side. Okay, so I'm coming up on my corner here, my next corner here, and just, you know, make sure it's like lining up, and you don't have like a huge gap, or, you know, something like it's snug, like cinching. Okay, you just want to make sure it's coming straight, you know, and, you know, just continue working on till you get to your end. Just make sure you know, you seal it up good. I'm going to do one last little stitch in here because this is where I did a little chain there. I think it was a chain. Alright, so I'm just going to do one little last stitchy and then pull my tail. Oh wait, I'm zoomed in. Okay. I wasn't even that far zoomed in. Alright. So what you're going to do here is you're going to cut off, I think I have to sneeze. You'll cut off and weave in, however you feel comfortable weaving in. You know, everyone has their own little style and stuff like that. All right, but this is, oh, I don't have a button out. All right, I'm going to look for a button. I'll do that later, you'll see. All right, with the button. You're not sewing it here. There's nothing there to sew it to. You're not sewing it here. You're sewing it down. One row down off of your granny. Off of the edge of your granny, okay? So one row down. So you'll put your button there, and I said a toggle button, or, you know, however you like, and you'll sew it on, and you'll weave in all your ends and stuff like that. Now with the D-rings, I don't know if I can show you, I guess. All right, with the D-rings are funny, I think, in a weird way, annoying way, because you're supposed to push it through the piece so that it tightens up on itself. So now, but sometimes that'll come out. You know, you're moving your bag around. It's not stationary. You're putting your bag on, you're taking it off, you're hanging it on a hook, or, you know, putting it down on the couch or some kind of something. So what I usually do with that, oh, I gotta weave in, that's annoying. Okay, what I usually do with that is I'll go in and then I'll make like a knot and pull it through. Like I'll knot it onto the D-ring. You know, you do you if you did a D-ring, the D-rings, or you did a buckle, or, you know, however you did, or, you know. And then also, what you can do, if you don't like that, you can always just sew it onto the D-ring. Like if it's the perfect length and you don't want to adjust it or anything like that, you know, you can always just sew it right onto the D-ring. Sew right through and you know, to hold it in place, if that's what you want to do. Okay, so I want to do the lining, so I'll show you a little bit of the lining and go on from there. Now I show you this trick I showed you before, but let me get my liner. Now I think I'm going to go with yellow on the lining. I do have a chartreuse colored fabric, but I don't know, maybe it's too much chartreuse. A white lining is fine. You know, any color, whatever color you want it. So now I'm going to show you this. Okay, this is my little cheat. These are quilters squares. You can get them in the sewing section, like where they have the needles and thread and stuff like that in the craft store. I'm sure they sell them online and all of that. Now these are pretty cheap. Usually it'll run you between, if they're having a sale and they're not having a sale, $1, like maybe under $2 or something like that. And it's just a thin cotton fabric. They come in all different colors, patterns, designs, boo boo boo, okay, because they're quilter squares. Now, the reason I'm using this, or or I like these, is not everybody can cut a straight line when it comes to fabric. And when I say not everybody, I mean not me. And these take the guesswork out. These are cut nice and neat, nice big square, nice big quilter square. Cut perfect, okay? And so your square is there. Now, what you would do with this is you would iron it, okay? So this is my little cheat on this, and I show this in another video. So this is what I'm sticking with. Now, I don't do pockets or anything like that. Okay, you want a piece of material that's going to be able to cover the bag completely, including the sides, you know, and the bottom. You'll turn your bag inside out. Okay, your quilter square or whatever you're going to use will be ironed and all types of flat. All types of flat. And you can iron in the seam and stuff like that. Okay, let me adjust the camera so you can see. Okay, so now what you would do, you would weave in all your ends, you know, make them poof, go away. Okay, this really matches nice. You would iron your piece flat, more or less, wrap your bag. And from there, you can just simply mark off how wide you want it to be, you know, on both sides. Sew it, snip it, you know, snip off your excess, and then you would sew it in with the fancy side showing to the outside, not the inside. And this will show through, but it's nice, it'll keep your stuff from falling out. All right, so I'm gonna pick a color, I guess, and then I'll show you. And it's just a simple basting. Basting is what my grandmother referred to it when she would sew in, but I don't even know because, you know, you baste a turkey. So I'm not really sure if that's the correct term, but I want to say I mean, this was forever ago, but I want to say that's the word she said. She said basting. But also, these work out perfect. These quilter squares for this particular pocketbook because they fit it perfect, you know, from here. So, and then I would, you know, fold over and sew in around here. Sew your button first. Sew in around here, you know, and the only thing I'm cutting down are the sides. So make sure that if you do, you know, do this and you cut it down, that you leave yourself a good, what is it, 2 inches on the side? 2 to 3 inches on the side. And I have a measuring tape and I shall tell you. Yeah, 2 inches on the side. If you did it exact the way I did it, with the width and all of this. Okay, so you'll do 2 inches. You'll leave 2 inches hang over on both sides. Okay, 2 inches hang over on both sides. And then we'll sew it in together once I get my sides sewed up. And then that's great because it saves on sewing. You really are only sewing up the sides and then sewing it onto the bag with a liner like this, okay, and a crochet or a knit or whatever. Always put a few stitches in the corner, in the corners of the base of the bag, okay? A few sewn stitches in the corners, in the base of the bag, and then in the center. And I'll tell you why. Because this is a floating liner, okay? So this liner, you could, you know, it would pull off freely. It would only be sewn here. So the problem with that, with the floating liner like that, if you've ever had a bag like that, is that when you go to pull something out, if your ring or whatever you're pulling out catches on it, your whole liner is coming out, including your lipstick, lip gloss, your wallet, your this, your that, you know. So make sure you anchor the lining down. Remember, when you sew it, that the lining, the good side of the fabric, rather, is going to show. Okay, so you have to remember that when you're sewing your seams. And then when you sew, and then this is a weird one too. So when you sew, in the lining, you're sewing it in like this. So the faded side, or you know, if it's double-sided, whatever, your fabric, so that the more vibrant side shows on the outside, through the bag rather. So sew your button first, and then you sew in your liner with the good side of the fabric, the right side, the vibrant side, showing through. And you'll see this in finishing touches, but just to show you now, just to explain it now, so you know, or as a reminder, because I'm gonna end up hand sewing this until I can fix up my machine. So, and then as long as you want on your handle, and I guess that's it as far as this my boho hippie bag. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. As always, happy hooking, because it keeps you off the streets, keeps you out of trouble, and all of that. You know, follow me, thumbs up, subscribe. I have more videos coming, of course, and I'll be back real soon with the next tutorial. And I guess that's it. So Crochet Basics, me, Jolie, and my boho hippie bag. And I'll be back real soon. Thank you so much for watching. Have a super duper great day.